Okay, now let's start. Today's topic: what is the time value of the money? And what the fuck is PVIF and FVIF? Present value interest factor and future value interest factor. So, to understand what is the time value of the money means future money is worth less than money today. Why the heck is that? You see, let's say you have $10,000 today. What you can do with 10K? You can buy Lego. You can buy UCS Razor Crest. How many UCS Razor Crest can you buy? $16 UCS Lego Razor Crest. And that's a lot. What else can you do with 10K today? What else you can do with 10K today is you can deal yourself with roughly 22 Tesla stock. Hooray, Elon Musk, that's investment. What else you can do with that? Say if you are a car guy. You can do like two 2025 Ford Mustang 5.0 fastback GTMT. That's V8 engine. You see, like today you have 10K can buy two Mustang 16 UCS Razor Crest and 22 Elon Musk stock. Assume is around $454. Well, I made that slide on December 5th, so I guess probably gonna fluctuate more when you see the video. What can you do with 10K after a year? You can do around 15 UCS Razor Crest. What else? You can do 18 Tesla stock. Fortunately, you can still do 2025 Ford Mustang 5.0 fastback GTMT V8 engine, but that's after a year. So like you are in 2026 now, why the heck would you buy a 2025 model? I mean, well, some people do that, like me, because I'm cheap and I'm broke. I'm unemployed, whatever. So you see, that's what I'm talking about. You only able to purchase 14 UCS Razor Crest and 18 Tesla stock and maybe like still two car, but it's 2025 model in 2026. The reason that you can only buy 14 UCS Razor Crest is for 2026, Lego will retire the current UCS Razor Crest. So since it's retired and the UCS sets is like a collectible items, so we assume since it's retired from the market, it will have a growth. So that means the UCS Razor Crest in the future might worth more money. Similar for the Elon Musk stock. So stock market, they fluctuate a lot. So maybe by the same time next year, there will be a fluctuation. So maybe like the Tesla stock will grow to a higher price. So which means you can buy less stock with 10K compared to now. Well, like market fluctuation, it can be more cheaper since whatever happened to Tesla and Trump and China, whatever it is. So it might have a cheaper price. So maybe you can buy more. But let's say you can buy less, and Tesla is performed relatively well in the future. So you can only buy 18 stock. And for the Ford, that's actually what I'm talking about. Why the heck would someone want to buy a 2025 model in the great big 2026, which you can buy a newer model with better technology? I mean, because like it's assets depreciation, like for inventory, it will somehow depreciate too, means like it's more easier to have problem with their machines. So they probably are less desirable than the newer model, but it really depends on the scenario. I'm just making a bad example. Whatever. So now you know. So by the example I just gave, What you can do with 10K is actually more than this, but I'm just saying you can't do things with the 10K in your hand today. And that is by what I call certainty. You are certain about the amount of money you're having and what you're gonna do with the amount of money. Second, you can make a decision, and that's called opportunity. So since you have that cash, 10K in your hand, you can decide what you're gonna do with that. So that means you have more opportunity right now. Thirdly, it's manageable. Like what I said, you have that cash in your hand. You can manage that cash. That's physical money. So you can manage it. So it's manageable. Lastly, it's stable. Why the heck it's stable? Because you have the money right now and it's physical value, and you know it will worth 10K because you have 10K right now in your hand, which is, you know what? Next topic. So probably after a year, there will be inflation, there will be market fluctuation. You are not really sure about the future 10K. Say like I told you, like you're gonna have 10K in the future. Compare I give you 10K right now, it's really different. You're not really sure about how that 10K will look like after a year. So uncertainty. Like, if I tell you you're gonna have a girlfriend in the future, are you sure you're gonna have a girlfriend? Hell no. I say you have a girlfriend in the future. That's a compliment. That's not a real thing. So you're probably gonna still be single in the future for quite a long time. And then maybe you are lucky, then you get a girlfriend. That's it. Like, that's the difference. Well, meanwhile, less opportunity. If you have 10K today, you can do everything with that 10K. But if I tell you you have 10K in the future, you might have to calculate what I can do with 10K in the future, but you can't see the future. So that means you are not sure about the opportunity you have. So that means you have less opportunity because you have to forego the opportunity you have right now to look at the opportunity in the future, which is quite potentially not really realistic, I would say. Well, like if you can foresee the future, I mean, yeah. It's not manageable. It's not manageable. Come on, guys. Say less. It's unstable. Since like 10K, that value might affected by the inflation, so it might worth less or it might worth more. Well, future money is worth less than money today. That's like the concept. So I wish you can somehow understand why future money is worse than money today. So now we're gonna do some real stuff. Since we have covered the concept of time of value, we're gonna do future value interest factor, present value interest factor, future value interest factor annuity, and present value interest factor annuity. Guess that's great. So what is future value interest factor? So future value interest factor, what do we have here? It's a formula. Well, like you probably don't understand what the formula means right now, so I will explain. FV, future value. PV, present value. Or I say today value. What's the R? The R is interest rate. I mean, well, you can call it rate, so you know what it is. What is N? Well, N means time, so kinda period of time, number of period. When do we use future value interest factor? So you see, this formula makes you get future value. Why do we want future value? So we have present value right now, we have today's money right now. Why are we looking for future money? Duh, investing. Because we are fucking investing. We're using today's money to investing in the future's profit. Now, say you have a friend, his name is John. And John has just recently discovered an iron mine. And if he processes all of the raw iron right now, it will worth 100K currently. However, the process took a quite long time, roughly 5 months. John has 2 friends, Sam and Joseph. Both the two need iron for their craft. Hence, due to the law of supply and demand, the price of iron will continuously grow for these few months, 5% per monthly. So, if John wonders how much is the iron worth after 5 months when he processes them, the future value interest factor kicks in. So now we have formula here. To find the present value, which we look back the original value of the iron mine before the 5 months, which is 100K. time period will probably be the 5 months, obviously. Rate, 5%, it mentioned. Now we just put number into the formula, and then we see how much we get. Then we get 127.63k. So after 5 months, the iron mine will worth about this much of money. Sam and Joseph are friends of John. They knew John just got a lot of iron. They need this iron for their rocket shapecraft. Market sees the growing demand and has been pushing up the price of iron in a rate of 5% monthly. John decided to sell them for 130k. This made the two realize if they didn't quit 5 months ago, it could have been them who have the 130k worth of iron. Now, Sam and Joseph want to know how much John's iron was 5 months ago before the market. Now, since we already know the value, we just need to know where to put them. So the 130k after 5 months. And now we are seeking the original price, which made the 130k future value. And 5 months is still the N time period. 5% is still the rate, R, which is quite obvious. By now, you should somehow realize what you gotta do, which is we are having future value seeking present value. That's somehow reverse calculation. Instead of time 1 plus R with square of N, we divide 1 plus R with square of N using future value. So when you put all of these numbers into the formula, you will eventually get 101.86k, which is a present value. And this is the opposite of future value interest factor, which is the present value interest factor. So in a nutshell, present value interest factor and future value interest factor, using the value today to estimate the original value or the value in the future to the present day value. We have future value and then we try to calculate what's the present value equivalent to the future days. Well, vice versa. Similarly for the future value interest factor, you have today's value and you are looking for what's it equivalent to the future day's value, using value today to estimate the future value. Simple. So these two actually are just the opposite of each other, reverse calculation. And why do they relate to each other? Because they both are single lump sum projected in a certain time period. Looking at, to look up to. Usually they will have more formal questions instead of what I did on the previous slides. Something like this. Emma has a bond worth 25k in the bank rate of blah 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 blah. What do we do with that? Simple. We know this one is a future value interest factor question, which we have present value has a bond worth of 25k, and we're looking for what's the 25k equivalent in the time period of 5 years. How much will she have after the maturity date? So we clear the elements. Present value is 25k, numbers time periods, which is 5 years, and they have 12 months. Why 12 months? Because 0.2% monthly. So since it's a monthly rate, it's compound per month. So that's why we times 12. 60 months. Is that a good definition? I think so. I guess. And the rate is 0.2% per month. So that's why it's more clear now. You have a rate of per month and you calculate everything with the number of months. And now 25k. You just put the number into the formula, you get everything. How much you get? 28.18k. That's great. Okay. We have a more formal present value interest factor question. Here's a formula. You can try to do it by yourself. Let's say this guy named Miss Knopfler. He has a fixed term deposit of 3 years. And now it worth 30k. So we already have the future value right now. And he wondered how much interest he had earned, which is, you find the future, you already have the future value, trying to find the present value, and you minus see the differences. Future value is 30k in 3 years, which is more simple. Rate 2.5% annually. So just to be careful with this. So sometimes the paper gonna be tricky, so they try to trick you with the words. For example, they're gonna say it's 2.5% monthly, and then they give you a 3 years. So you just convert the years to the months, and everything will be fine. Put everything into the formula, see what you got. 27.86k. So 30k minus 27.86k equivalent to 2.24k. So that's the differences. Now you know. Once you actually learn how to use the formula, you just put numbers into the formula and you just get the answer. Simple. Okay, that's the end of this video. So yeah, we should understand what's FVIF, what's PVIF. And most importantly, in our next video, we're gonna try to talk about FVIF and PVIF, future value interest factor annuity and present value interest factor annuity. Good? Yeah. Like, share, and subscribe, I guess. You don't need to do that. It's done. Whatever. Shut the fuck up.